knows that hammer of justice. He don't want that trouble, but he gonna get it. Hopefully, God willing. Anybody who's doing evil and wickedness, they deserve to get that hammer slammed down on. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? We got some breaking news. Breaking news. Obama's going to jail. The whole Democrat Party is going to jail. And then they going to hell. Well, let's not hope that. But as we keep going and further into this Trump administration, we see the corruption just being exposed. And just recently, they're going to drop files on Obama, on that Russian collusion and all the stuff he tried to do to set up Trump. And it's part of the reason why I think, personally, he fled the country. He fled the country because, Trump's in office, and he said that he was going to show all those things, what they were doing, the corruption. Like he's going to show the files and documents like Epstein list and and declassified documents. So we finna go be looking at this on what's up right here. So on this post right here, it says declassified documents confirms beyond the shadow of a doubt, Barack Obama personally authorized one of the greatest criminal conspiracies in the United States history, the Russian collusion hoax to tie Donald J. Trump, Trump's organization, and Donald J. Trump for President Inc. to the Russians, thus attempting to overthrow the United States government in 2016, then later attempting to overthrow a sitting president in 2017. Personally unmasked, targeted, framed General Michael Flynn, a 3-star United States Army and 33 years of service, 4 Bronze Stars, 5 combination medals. Good Lord, he's done a lot for the country in the Army and being a United States General. That's a lot of stuff. And it says personally approved United Kingdom 5 intelligence alliance to execute Project Folsom, seeking intelligence gathering on Trump's organization and Donald J. Trump for president. That's crazy. So he's basically having other countries in on the spying and infiltration of Trump's campaign. Crazy. Now let's look. General Michael Flynn knew about Barack Obama and his mistress, Susan Rice, their crimes and illegal activities, including bribing Stephen Halper to target and tie Donald J. Trump and his campaign to the Russians. In other words, the foundation of democracy being so sacred that you do not allow the politicization of criminal justice system, the intelligence system, or the military. Which that's what Barack Obama said. He said that you're not supposed to do that, but yet, of course, a hypocrite, he's in there doing that. So let us watch this video.
Reporting from our team over at the White House. Peter Alexander is still standing by. Peter, what can you tell us?
Chris, this is some breaking news that Kristen Welker and myself have now confirmed. According to at least 3 former Obama administration officials, we have now confirmed that President Trump, during that 90-minute Oval Office meeting that took place with President Obama here at the White House less than 48 hours after President Trump won, when he was then President-elect Trump, was warned by President Obama against hiring Mike Flynn. This is a piece of information that has not been reported before. It is notable because, as we have heard from President Trump over the course of the last several days and weeks, attacking the Obama administration as recent as today with those tweets, attacking the Obama administration effectively for hiring Mike Flynn. It's notable that the Obama administration, the president ultimately had fired Flynn. He was then serving at the DIA at the time, but that this information was provided to Donald Trump in that closed forum. Another element of that conversation we know about is that President Obama warned then President-elect Trump about the concerns regarding North Korea. All of this, the backdrop for Sally Yates' testimony to take place later this afternoon. We have reached out to the White House for any response. We have not yet heard back, but when we do, we will report that to you. Again, just to be very clear about this, NBC News has now learned from at least 3 former Obama administration officials that President Obama, at the time, it was on Thursday, November 10th, warned then President-elect Donald Trump against hiring Mike Flynn.
I have a timeline here that shows that in August 7th, 2014, he retires from the Army after 33 years. Then in August of 15, he first meets Donald Trump. And then just a month later, you've got Stefan Halper, who you just referenced, awarded an Office of Net Assessments contract valued at $245,000. He was paid that much money to study Russia and China. Lee Smith, tell us about that.
Yeah, Maria, thanks very much for mentioning Halper, because I believe that he's actually the center of the Russiagate operation, and we first see him start to appear as he is targeting General Flynn. And now we understand, as Ms. Powell's work on behalf of General Flynn has shown, why the deep state why they needed to target General Flynn, because he understood the kinds of programs that they were using and how they were misspending their money, and Halper is representative.
Well, he was paid $244,000 to write a study on China and Russia.
Right.
Is that the kind of money that one gets paid for something like that?
I mentioned this a bit in my book, and as it turns out, Mr. Halper's his research is subpar, and no, this appears to have been money that was allocated for other purposes.
Fabricated evidence, and they lied to the courts, and they did all sorts of things to have it go their way. And this was something that we can never allow to happen again. The report actually, and especially when you look into it, and the details of the report are far worse than anything I would have even imagined.
Yeah.
What they were doing and what they would have done if I didn't make a certain move that was a very important move, because it would have been even worse if that's possible. And they might have been able to succeed. This was an overthrow of government. This was an attempted overthrow, and a lot of people were in on it, and they got caught. They got caught red-handed. And I look forward to the Durham report, which is coming out in the not-too-distant future. It's got his own information, which is this information plus. And it's an incredible thing that happened, and we're lucky we caught him. I think I'm going to put this down as one of our great achievements, because what we found and what we saw, never, ever should this happen again.
Ooh-wee. Okay, so that is quite exposing. Basically, they had somebody getting paid $245,000 to write Russia and China studies, basically tying Trump and General Flynn into this mess, saying that they were colluding with Russia, and just make this fake report of things. And if anybody did that, trying to set somebody up, they would be imprisoned. They would be, put behind bars for doing this. But as you see right here, people don't get prosecuted. People just keep on rolling and moving forward. So it's unfortunate, but hey, it's being exposed. So maybe from this day forward, we'll start to see somebody coming down on this type of just disgusting, despicable, just way of living. You're supposed to be justice and righteousness upheld, but they're doing everything in their power to expose people and set them up. So let's go watch this next part over here.
Trump will not be president.
Highly critical, biased text messages between senior FBI officials Peter Strzok and Lisa Page.
There will be no question about the outcome of this election.
And she got ahead of herself. This utterly stunned this campaign.
Head home. You should get some sleep. We'll have more to say tomorrow.
Our constitutional democracy enshrines the peaceful transfer of power.
The peaceful transition of power is one of the hallmarks of our democracy. We want to do everything we can to help you succeed, because if you succeed, then the country succeeds.
These declassified documents that were just released.
Officials in the Obama administration were asking for the identities to be unmasked of Americans.
Unmasking of aides and staffers of the incoming president.
The basic charge, political spying.
To disrupt the peaceful transfer of power.
Unmasking of American citizens. It could be a real problem. Why is it that the unmasking of Flynn somehow ended up in the pages of the Washington Post?
I know nothing about those moves to investigate Michael Flynn.
The vice president said that yesterday,
And then the last name on this list is Joe Biden.
The Obama administration was bitter. They wanted to do everything they could to undermine the incoming Trump administration.
Really designed to sabotage and really upend the new administration.
An outgoing president and a vice president and a Washington Post columnist and the FBI setting up an incoming administration. Wow. That's a real conspiracy. And nobody wants to talk about it.
The allegations are so absurd that even Republican-controlled committees, looking into it, have dismissed them. And, Attorney General Barr has dismissed them. But, this is an example, I think, of a larger problem. Well, two larger problems. Which don't get as much attention, understandably, when you've got high unemployment and a pandemic raging, because it doesn't touch people's day-to-day lives. But one of the central foundation stones of a democracy is the idea that you do not allow the politicization of the criminal justice system, the intelligence system, the military, right? That is stuff that you keep out of politics.
That's former US President Barack Obama there, calling Donald Trump's allegations that he interfered in the 2016 election as absurd.
So just basically, they were trying to get him set up and bumped. He really did not want Trump being in office at all. As you said, he said Trump wouldn't be president. And so he was setting up a coup so that when he got in there, that they would have false information written and have them colluding together and these fake reports. And the next thing you know, he would be ousted. He would be put on the news. But God's hand was in it, because he said if he didn't do a certain move, he would have been over with. And the same thing with him almost getting that headshot. God moved his head. So the hand of God is upon President Trump, and I just pray that more exposure happens, more the showing of the enemy's hand, and just to see how deep the deep state is. They out of the pits of hell. That's how deep they are. But Elon Musk said there will be consequences for those who pushed foreign interference hoaxes. The hammer of justice is coming. And as you know, soon as President Trump won, Barack Obama and his family fled the country, and I guess he knows that hammer of justice. He don't want that trouble, but he gonna get it. Hopefully, God willing. Anybody who's doing evil and wickedness, they deserve to get that hammer slammed down on. I mean, that government efficiency thing, I think, is going to be a perfect job if they actually get it done. Because if you look into all the things they're putting your tax dollars towards. Like I read this one thing where it was rats who they were giving alcohol and having bobcat pee put on them. And $650,000 was allocated to those people for that type of research. I mean, I feel like I'm living in the Twilight Zone I'm just living in a fantasy world, because this, like, I couldn't even think of such craziness. But this is the stuff they're using with our tax dollars, the money that we're having taken out of our checks unwillingly to go to these just unwilled things that you would have done. That's the dumbest research I've ever known. But anyways, Obama being exposed and on the run, glory be to God. Even though I voted for him, my eyes have been open. Democrat Party is pushing demonic agendas. But anyways, you guys have a good day. God bless you. If you've woken up today, God has blessed you. You need to rejoice. For God has made another day. It's time for you to rejoice and be glad in it and be thankful, because he has a plan and purpose for you. I love you. Like and subscribe. Jesus is Lord. And I will be back with another one. Wait.